Welcome to the program. I believe this is Steve Alcorn.
Hey.
What's going on, brother? Sorry about the long wait time. We had some scheduled guests we had to get to.
No problem. I'm sitting there doing pictures anyway.
So,
Brian's going to be mad at me for what I'm going to say to him. He's arguing with a 14-year-old kid.
I know.
I don't want to get sorry from you know.
I just want him to apologize to me for being a jerk-off.
You just got to be a racer, Brian.
I am a racer. I'm a race car driver. And guess what else I am now, Steve Alcorn?
What?
I'm a freaking radio host, buddy.
He is.
So I'm a rock star, a race car driver, and a radio host. And that's the truth.
As long as you can take them and give it out just the same, it's all like racing.
Oh, dude, you know I can take it. I can take it a lot more than I can give it.
All right, let me get the Rufus, man. Call little 191 a shithole. I went down there for the first time myself. The circle of people that kind of went down there and behind us, you know, probably calls it a shithole too. But all it is good mountain people that's up on the hills and all that. And I've seen 5,000 people come out to a little bitty old track that does have a lot of dust. The track was smooth. You know, I didn't see no rats. They said there was rats there and everything else. But I took some pictures. I had a lot of fun with people. My girlfriend sat way up on the hill where I had to climb up the mountain twice to go get my jacket and all that. Now, I was one of them good old boys.
Now, Steve, tell them about how they've got that cut out. Like the way they've got it. You can drive your car right up to where you're going to sit, can't you?
Oh yeah, they got the bus seats and all that, like he says. But like I said, if you see that if you're driving the back roads in Kentucky, you see that out on everybody's porch, right next to their mobile homes and everything else. I mean,
it's not just Kentucky.
They probably don't have a lot in life. Their owner was out motioning people out to get out of the racetrack, and somebody ran him over and killed him. You know, I mean, there's a good story there that's great for that track, and one day that track may be a little bit better than it is. Again, maybe not. I showed a picture on the Facebook today, which shows old-time racetrack that's just going away, where the weeds are growing up through their bleachers, and you know, and it's a sad situation that it looks that way. And a lot of tracks could become like that, or they can just go and race. If people get over it in a minute on what it is to do to go love racing like they say they love racing, they just go and do it. That's just like the same I'm trying to tell you is, you know, Bush Creek, the 14-year-old kid ain't going to tell you, hey, Brian, we love you that much. You're the greatest racer in the world. Come on back.
I wasn't asking him for that. I wasn't asking for that. I was asking him to say I'm sorry for coming out and chewing my ass just because, for no reason.
Well, he was trying to. He was like Webb said. He was going to try to tell you something. You know, I don't probably didn't give him as much chance as he needed to.
No, he ain't gonna tell me nothing. Him nor his old man or whatever.
Hey,
the difference between Brush Creek and 191 is that when I went down to 191, those people were extremely happy to see us come there. And I think that's a different class of people down there versus some of these guys that think things should be better than what they are. That place is as down home as it gets.
Yep, like I said, but I've seen 5,000 people there, more than probably. You know, I had my chances to go to Brownstown to watch that race, to watch, you know, my favorite driver probably is Owens or O'Neill. But you get tired of watching them same old guys win, lead from, you know, the pole to 100 laps and on a black slick track that's catered to them. Yes, that's slim picking. You know, the next week here at Bush Creek is going to be probably a very good race. I'll probably have to go to Florence to do their track championship. But, you know, people like
Thanks, Steve. I like that.
You know, people like Boggs and all that, you know, I don't know that he had his motor set back that far, but he gets away with his limit. He did park right in the middle. There was no other place to park, you know. So, I mean, they had to load up their car and everything else before anybody even left. He ran 8th, by the way, you know. With that setback motor and all that stuff, you know, them good old boys raced a little different down there, you know. they're all, you can't hardly get 3 wide. If you do, you're going to touch somebody. And a couple of Florence Sporos, they got mixed up in it. They didn't like it, you know, and everything else. But I watched them when they first come there. Everybody was awful happy to leave 2 or 3 in the morning, you know. They qualified everything. That was a little rough.
Yeah, that was the last time we went, too, is that they qualified everything from beginning to end. And I think we left. We got paid and left before they were done completely racing because it was 2:30 in the morning. And that was the last time I was down there. But like I said, when I went down to 191, they were as hospitable as they could be. They parked us down in a hole and at least they warned us not to, get too far out of that little field, he said, because there was rattlesnakes down there. So we did watch out for that. And like I said, it seemed like they were people that were very thankful for what they have. And there's people around here that have everything and don't appreciate it. And I think that's the difference.
That's the truth, and that's the way they, if you're coming down there with your high-class car and all that, it's a different world there, and definitely I like seeing it because it's kind of people that's racing. That's racing in America. I don't know if you know it or not, but there's a bunch of little barnyard tracks and cornfield tracks and all that. We're missing a lot of that stuff where the fun is, where you have excitement and your hair stands on the back of your head because you're out there on the fence knocking it down like they are, rooting for them.
They got old school guardrails, it looks like. I'm looking at some of the track pictures now.
Webb, if I could describe that racetrack to you,
wow.
They built it in between, I would say, two mountainsides. And they put it right down in the bottom of that mountainside, and they built a hole. And that's it. To get from one side of the grandstand, like the parking area, to the other side, the cars actually drive like up against the fence down the straightaways on each side. So at any random moment during the race, if there's a car pulling out of the racetrack and they hit their brakes, you see these big red lights come on as you're going into the corner.
Huh. Steve, can you get me somebody from this track to come on the show?
Did I? No, I never got to talk to her yet. I guess you're talking about Eddie?
Yeah, I'd like to have a representative of this track on the show. Look at these pictures. It looks like a pretty racy little track.
I think their name's
the Mayab
track.
All right.
I'll find them for you, Webb. It's not a big. That place was awesome. I don't know what happened over the last weekend, but I know a lot of people came back a little upset over things. But regardless of what they say, I've got to go back down there because it's literally one of those tracks where you don't really. It's hard to really pass somebody clean, if you know what I mean. You got to put your nose right in them and a wheel up against them and move them out of the way to get around them.
All right. Well,
some guys don't like to race like that.
Steve, thanks for joining us. We're gonna wrap the show up.
Hey, that's good.
Rufus was wrong, huh?
It's just opinion, I like Rufus too, but everybody's got opinion, and I'm one of them people too. Hey, I'm glad you had us on, and I really like Brian and all that, and if it helps, I apologize for Steve Barton. Come on, I'll pay your way in.
Hey, Steve, actually, Steve, thanks by the way.
Bye.
I'm going to Florence with you, Alcorn.
See you later. You have a good night.
Steve Alcorn, photographer. What's his website, Brian?
SRARacingphotos.com, or I believe it's Dirt Star.
Dirt Star, that's right.
Just Google Dirt Star, you'll find him. That's it.